All right, you guys are at the forefront of cutting edge instruction. Give me a bold statement.
Yeah, so it's one that not everybody wants to hear, I suppose, but if I had to say something pretty bold about golf instruction, which is what we're here doing, it's really that most golf instructors don't actually know what they're doing. It's really hard to learn how to teach golf. You can't do it from reading books or DVDs. You need some evidence-based practice. You need someone who can show you how to measure a swing, and I think that's where most people go wrong. If you have this belief that you can walk out onto a driving range and just teach golf for 20 years and that you know what you're doing.
But inversely, just because you got a bunch of gadgets and been teaching for a year doesn't mean you know what you're doing either.
Absolutely. Also a logical fallacy to watch golf on TV and think that the commentators are always spot on with their instruction. They're not really teaching. You need to be able to have taught someone for 5 lessons at least 5 different times before I could say that you really actually know what you're doing. So if you're just talking about golf or you're just reading books or DVDs, you watch even worse, like videos on YouTube, that does not make you an expert.
Probably the lowest hanging fruit to get better is to be fit into the right clubs.
Yeah, you're gonna hit your gamer, right?
Okay, yep.
And then let's see what happens. And then I wanna take you through how a lot of people actually buy their golf clubs and show you the difference. So smash this thing out there like you normally do. Nicely done. Really good. Is that pretty normal? Looks like you hit that really well. Launch is good, backspin's good. So I'm gonna use the same head and a stock shaft that you could just grab off the wall or off a rack at a big box store.
Picking kind of stock stuff off the rack.
Grabbing something off the rack, which is what I see people do all the time.
That came out way lower.
Very, very low. To start with your driver, you launch that one with a ball speed of 163. The backspin, the amount the ball's just spinning backwards, somewhere between 2,000 and 2,500 would be a good range for you. You're barely on the high side of that. I mean, that's a really well-fit driver for you. You do land the ball on the ground, so this is the descent angle. It's the angle the ball's coming down. It's a little acute first, a little close to the ground, so you get a lot of roll off your driver,
but that's maybe the launch just being a little bit too low.
That's exactly what it is. So you've got a low launch driver, even with a little bit high spin, it still isn't high enough. 330 yards, I know you're in Denver, but that rolled a long way. Yeah. That's still a great drive. The backspin went up just a touch, but I made sure this did not have enough loft, so you launched it at 8 versus 11.
Yep.
That 3-degree difference now almost doesn't even put you on our chart of where you want to launch that. Right. You're trending towards this red area for sure. So ultimately that equals 40 yards of distance that you have between your driver and something that I just grabbed off the rack for you.
It's just so important to get this ball launching high enough.
You got it. Ultimately, most people who do a driver fitting with us gain about 20 yards of distance. The quickest, dirtiest way to get 20 yards, right here. Marcy, how long have you been a student?
2014, 2015, so yeah. I'm such a visual learner, so if I'm not in here for a while, I'm like, uh-oh, you know, I need to get back, because what am I doing? And sure, just enough just today, that's what I'm doing, and then it's like quickly go back to what I've been learning to do.
Marcy tends to turn a little early in her downswing. That creates the shaft getting a little steeper. So we basically just try and flatten her out to start with. Because of how steep she is on the way down, she gets that butt end of the club a little further away from herself at that point.
That looks awesome, by the way, Marcy.
Get better next visit.
Yeah, absolutely. This is happening thousands of times a day across the world, really. So we're just interested in helping anybody who wants any golf problem solved to do it.
You can now stream full episodes of Swing Expedition. Learn from top coaches David Ledbetter, Bill Harmon, and Mike Adams on golfpass.com.